Good morning, students. In the previous class we discussed about parameterized constructor and default constructor. Parameterized constructors, advantages, features, syntax and example and different programs we discussed about a parameterized constructor. In today's class, let us understand a constructor with default arguments. Okay, so and also what we discussed in the last class, the methods of calling or methods of invoking parameterized constructor, that is implicit call, explicit call, assignment method. Okay, so in today's class we shall discuss constructor with default arguments. So that constructor must be a parameterized constructor. Arguments, if you are passing argument to the constructor, means it is a parameterized. Okay, now what is mean by constructor with default arguments? Don't get confused with default constructor and constructor with default arguments. See here, the word arguments, when the word arguments comes, it must be a parameterized constructor. Okay, so usually how many arguments we pass from the main function, or when we create object, at that moment we will pass argument. So we have to write a parameterized constructor within the class definition. I hope you are understanding. When we create an object, to that object if you are going to pass arguments, there must be a matching constructor in a class definition. If you are going to pass two arguments at the time of object creation, within the class definition you must create a constructor so that it constructor has to receive two arguments. Okay, so we have to declare two arguments in the constructor header. So how many arguments you are passing from the object? There must be a matching constructor in the class. So if you are passing two arguments in the class, we have to take a constructor which receives two argument. So if it is one argument, if you are passing one argument, here you have a constructor with one argument. So one argument it has to receive. We have to declare a formal argument that receives an argument from the main function or from the object. Okay, so in default constructor with default arguments, default argument means if a user or if a program doesn't pass any argument to the function, it has to take a default value. That is a default argument. Suppose if I take object point P, I will pass one argument. Okay, if a constructor point, name of the class is point, how many argument I am passing there? One argument. To receive that argument, I will take a formal argument, formal arguments we call it as. This is a parameter. I am passing one parameter here, that is integer type. In the constructor header, I have taken an argument that is a formal argument, so it is integer type. So there is a match, there is a matching. So there is, here I am passing only one argument, one parameter. So there is a matching constructor, it receives an argument. Understood? Suppose the class is point, class point open flower bracket in P in the public, or I will take int x comma y, I will take here I will take e. Here you can take x also here, but to differentiate I have taken different names. Now x is equal to a, okay, y is equal to 0. I am passing one argument here. To receive that, I have taken one variable, formal variable or formal argument. That argument is copied to x, and remaining another argument, another variable, I initialized with the value 0. Okay, so there is no ambiguity here. One argument, one formal argument is there. If I pass one argument, if I pass another point, I'll pass 5, 11. I must write another constructor within the class, isn't it? Because this constructor executes only for this object creation. For this object, I'll take P1 and it is P2. For this object, again I have to take another constructor within the class. Point int A comma int B. X is equal to A and Y is equal to B. Okay. If point on the space, okay, coordinates on the space, I'll take another Z. Here I'll make Z is equal to 0. If I take one more point P3, now I'll pass all variables here. Here Z is equal to 0. I'll set the value here. Here I'll take 8 comma 2 comma 3. For this object, I have taken 3 arguments. For that object creation, I did not have any constructor here. This is a constructor with only one argument. This is for 2 argument. So I have to write another constructor within the class, that is 3 argumented constructor. Point int A int B int C. Open flap bracket. X is equal to A and Y is equal to B, Z is equal to C. Class close. Okay, what you have to understand in this code, I have taken 3 different objects. For first object, I am passing only one parameter. To receive that parameter, I have taken a constructor with one argumented constructor. For this, I am passing 2 parameters here, so there is a matching constructor here. There must be a matching constructor. When you are passing any parameters, how many number of parameters you are passing from the main function, that many arguments you have to declare in the function header or in the constructor header. Here 2 argumented constructor. So for this object creation, which constructor will execute? This constructor will execute. For this object creation, this constructor will execute. And for third object, for this object creation, this constructor will execute. Okay. So if I take another thing, another one point P4, now I'll pass 9 comma 2. Again, which constructor will execute? This constructor, second one. So now what I am going to do, with the help of default arguments, I can reduce the number of constructor definition. How to give the default arguments? Default arguments means default values I have to set. Maximum how many data members are there? 3 data members are there. Okay. For 3 data members, I am going to pass arguments. If I take int B is equal to 0, int C is equal to 0. So these are all called default or default values, and these arguments are called default arguments. How does it work? Let us see. If I pass P1 is equal to 5, okay, so 5 goes to A, and I am not passing other 2 arguments here from the main function. So which value it has to set here? For this B and C. When there is an insufficient parameter in the object creation, then which value has to set? Default values have to be assigned to the data members. Are you understanding? Here actually maximum we have to pass 3 arguments. Here I have passed only one parameter. For this parameter, if consider these 2 constructors are not there, okay, I have taken only one constructor with the default arguments. These are called default argument. When you are set a value to the argument at the function header or constructor header, so this is called default values and this is called default arguments. B and C are the default arguments. 0 is the default value. Which value you want to set default value, that is left to you. You can set. Okay. Now, when this object is created, there is only one parameter and this parameter goes to A and remaining 2 will be assigned with the values 0. The y is 0 and z is 0. So it gets the default value. ನೀವು ಏನು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಆದರೆ ಡಿಫಾಲ್ಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನು ಸೆಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ ಆ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. And one more condition, you have to set default values from right to left and you must leave one parameter as it is. You should not give default value for all these things. If you give default value for all the data members or all the formal arguments, then it become a default constructor. So default constructor, now it becomes the equivalent to default arguments. There is a question how default constructor is equivalent to constructor with the default arguments. Okay, later we shall discuss that. Let us understand what is mean by constructor with default values. This is a constructor and these two are the default values. Okay, so what is the advantage of constructor with default arguments? See, instead of writing more definition, more constructor definition, see, before we discussed for this object creation there was only one argumented constructor that has to be executed. For this constructor, for this object creation, here I am passing two arguments. For this constructor has to execute, and for P3 that constructor has to execute, isn't it? So there must be a different constructor definition there in the class definition in order to match with the object creation, how many arguments you are passing. To avoid that many constructor definition, we can use default values here. ಇದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ರು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಪಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟೆಡ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಪಾಸ್ ಟೂ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ದೆನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್. ತ್ರೀ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ದೆನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್. ಸಿ 5 always the values are assigned from left to right. 5 goes to A, okay, and remaining 2, there is no two more arguments here, two more parameters. So these two arguments or data members are set with the value 0. For this constructor int A comma int B, this constructor there is two arguments, okay, two argumented here the object is the P2 object, it passed two arguments. For this constructor has to execute. To avoid this I have taken default value. What happens? 5 goes to A and 11 goes to B. This value, though we have a default value, if you are passing explicitly then this value overwrites this value. Understood? This B value is overwritten by 11. You have taken default value. Okay, still you are passing a value from the main function, from this object. Then what happens? This default value is overwritten by this argument, this parameter. Then x value will be 5 and y value is 11 and z value, then it gets a default value. For z I did not pass any argument here. When you come to third one, 8 2 3 is there, no? 8 goes to A and this value is overwritten by 2 and this value is overwritten by 3. In this way we can reduce, we can avoid many number of constructor definition within the class. How long it is possible we can use the default values. Understood? So let us write the program. So this is the constructor with default arguments. Header files as include iostream, as include conio.h, class, point. I'll take a coordinates, 3 coordinates here, int x, y and z. in the public section, I'll write a constructor, parameterized constructor. If you are taking default argument means it must be a parameterized constructor. So parameter idrene ನಾವು value set ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗೋದು. Int a int b is equal to 0, int c is equal to 0. Now x is equal to a, y is equal to b, and z is equal to c. Void display cout insertion open parenthesis, the next value, after that comma y value, comma insertion z value, close parenthesis backslash n semicolon. So display close, function close. Now I'll write main function here. Void main, I'll create object point p1 5 point p2, I'll take 4 comma 6 point p3 2 comma 3 comma 4. So we have taken 3 objects here. Now I'll display one by one cout insertion p1. So p1 dot disp, next thing p2 cout insertion p2, p2 dot disp cout insertion p3, it has to display as it is p1 point 1 in front of that open parenthesis and coordinates, p3 dot disp open close semicolon, after that close get ch close. So the continuation here is the continuation part. What happens when you execute this program? So let us assume this is the output screen. So always execution starts from main function, point p1 of 5. So you have created object p1 and you are passing an argument, one parameter, that is 5, but there is no matching constructor within the class. Actually what we think about this, so there is a one parameter, so there must be one augmented constructor in the class. ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಇರಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ. But here we have a 3 augmented constructor. Maximum how many value you are going to set, you have to take that many arguments. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀರಾ, 3 ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಆ 3 ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬೇಕು. ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ 1 parameter we need to pass here when you use default arguments. For these two, from right to left we have to assign value. For these two I have set value 0. Okay, so though we are passing one argument, though there is no one argumented parameterized constructor, we used constructors with default arguments. These default arguments are there, no? Then this constructor will execute for this invoke. Okay, this is implicit call. Then what happens? A, the 5 goes to A, x, now the x value is A and y value is B, 5, and it is 0, z also 0. Okay, so these value will be assigned to these data members x, y, z. To which object? P1 object. Whenever you create object, as usual there is a memory allocation for P1, x, y and z. Okay, for P2 also x, y and z. For P3 x, y, z. P1 5, you are passing value 5 and y and z becomes 0, isn't it? 0 agide. Next P2 object has created here. then we are passing 2 argument, but there is no 2 argumented constructor. This constructor will manage that. Okay, 4 and 6, 4 goes to A, and this value, this default value is overwritten by this value 6. Is 6 ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದನ್ನ overwrite ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. Then what is the value of x now? The x is equal to A value is 4, x is 4. B value, what is the B value? 0 is there, but explicitly I am passing a parameter, so this value is overwritten by 6. Then y value is 6. Then last thing is z, there is no argument for z, then it make use of default argument, default value 0. And one more object is there, P3. Here I am passing all arguments. 2 goes to A, then x becomes 2, y becomes 3, and z becomes 4. Now after that, which is the statement here? Cout P1. So this is output screen, no? Only the statements which are present in Cout will be displayed on the output screen. So this is the calculation part. This is internal process. What are the things you are going to see on the screen? What you are going to display on the Cout statement? Okay, Cout P1. P1 will be displayed here. After that, P1 dot disp. You are calling a display function with the help of P1 object. So display function has to display the values or data members of which object? P1 object. So what are the data members? X, Y, Z. Now right now P1, right now display function has to display x, y, z values of P1. So what is the value of x? 5. How the display format here? Open parenthesis, then 5 comma is there, x value 5 comma, y value 0 and z value 0. After that closing parenthesis, backslash n is there, cursor comes to next line. After that, Cout P2. P2 again, P2 dot disp, same function again invoking here with the different object. Right now P2 value has to display from this function. What are the values? 4 comma 6 comma 0. Now the next statement is P3, display statement, Cout statement P3, and this object is invoking this function, display function. Now the P3 values will be displayed on the screen, 2, 3 and 4. Understood? In this way it executes. So what is the conclusion? If we use constructors with default arguments, default values, if you set default values, we can avoid number of constructors definition within the class. Okay, there must be, we know that there must be a matching constructor in the class definition. If you are passing one argument, one argumented constructor, two argumented constructor, three argumented constructor must be there. So overloading, we can avoid a constructor overloading with the help of constructors with default arguments. Understood? I hope you are understanding this program. Let us discuss another program. C++ program to calculate simple interest based on time using the concept constructors with default arguments. Okay, see here, in order to calculate simple interest, user has to input principal amount, rate and time. Okay, based on the duration, time, we'll set some rate of interest. For example, I'll take time as year, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, like that. If time is equal to 1, okay, 1 year, then rate of interest is 6.7 rupees. Otherwise, or default, this is the, if time is 1 means this is the default value. So need not to ask for rate. 1 ವರ್ಷ ಅಂದರೆ 6.7 ಹಂಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. If time greater than 1 year, then it has to ask rate. Understood? So user has to input rate for this. If time is 1 means 1 year, so by default this value has to set there. If time greater than 1, the user has to input value. This is the code. And principal amount is compulsory. P value, principal amount, T value and rate of interest. Here principal amount user has to input, time has to input. If time is 1 year, this is the default value. If time greater than 1 year, then we have to ask for the rate of interest. After that it has to calculate simple interest. Understood? So this is the constraint, or this is the condition for this program. I'll write the constraint here. Constraint. If time is equal to 1, means 1 year, then rate of interest is 6.7. If time greater than 1 year, or this is greater than, here we have to give 1, 2, 3 year wise, not number of days. If it is greater than 1 year, so user has to input rate. Okay, or we can write if time is equal to 1 year, then default value rate of interest is 6.7. Otherwise it's understood user has to input rate of interest. I won't write this. So this is the default value. Let us start the program. Header files as include iostream.h, as include conio.h, class I'll take simple, name of the class is simple, open flat bracket. I'll take floating type values, float, p, t, r. Then in the public section, so I'll do one thing. I'll take only one data member to store the result, simple interest, SI, and remaining thing I'll pass from the main function. So now I'll leave like this. Let us start main function so that we can continue there. Void main. From main function I have to pass principal amount, time and rate of interest. So I'll take float p, t, r. Okay, now cout, enter p, t and r values. Let us ask first only p and t values. Okay, cin extraction p, t. Let us compare now. And before that I have to create object simple principal amount. I'll take 10,000, comma, time is 1, Need not to set a value here. Sorry, here I have to pass P, no? P comma T. Then it display the result there. After else, simple, else I have to ask for the rate of interest, no? See out, insertion, enter, rate of interest, C in extraction, R. Based on this, we have to create another object and we have to pass that. Simple, P2, principal amount, time and rate. Close. Then main close. See here, in this example, we have taken three variables here, floating type variables. So principal amount, time and rate of interest. So I have read data for P and T, principal amount and time. If time is equal to 1 year, 1, then I have to pass only principal amount and time. Okay. Otherwise, I need to pass three arguments there, P value, T value and R value. See here, how to write the constructor. At most I am passing three arguments there. So I have to take three argumented parameterized constructor here. Simple, floating type values I am passing there. Float P, float T, float R is equal to 6.7. Close, open flare bracket. Now P is here, okay, I'll take, or you can take here X, Y, Z, X, Y, Z. Here I'll take PTR, P, T, R and SI. For this P, I have to initialize X, for T, Y and for Z, R, Z. Okay. Now, what happens? If this condition satisfy, there is an object S1. So this object this object having two arguments, that is P value and T value. Then these values goes to here. P value goes to X and T value goes to Y. When this constructor will execute, when this object is created, when this condition satisfy, we have taken two argumented constructor here. So when this object is created, so these arguments goes to here. Actually there are two arguments. Here I have taken three argumented parameterized constructor, but I have taken default value here so that it can be managed from this constructor definition. Now Z value, that is R value, I am not passing from there. So that R value means here 6.7. By default R value gets the value 6.7. If this condition not satisfy, it goes to else part, then it has to ask for rate of interest. Enter rate of interest, R value, user will enter R value, then R value I am passing from there. Another object P2 I have taken. So P, T, R, there I am passing three arguments. So P value goes to X and T value goes to Y. R value is overrides this 6.7. Whatever the value given by the user will be considered. Then R value gets the value of that R value. Okay. Finally, we have to display the result. See, I'll write here. I'll write display function here. Void disp. I'll calculate here and then display here. SI is equal to P star T star R by 100. C out, simple interest is C out insertion SI, main close, function close and class close. Okay, let us, I'll write output screen here. Always execution starts from main function. So when you declare object, there is, these are all not object, they are the variables of basic type, that is floating type. For P, there is a 4-byte memory, T, 4-byte memory, R also. Enter P and T values, PT values. P value, if I give 10,000, and T value I'll take 1 year. Then next statement is, these are the internal process. T is equal to 1, yes, T value is 1. So this statement will display on the screen now. This is the output screen. Enter P and T values. Then I'll give 10,000 here and T value is 1. So 10,000 goes to P and 1 goes to T. Next statement is if else statement. If T is equal to 1, yes, is T 1? Yes, condition satisfied. Then it enters the block and there is an object creation with 2 arguments. S1 of object. When you create object, there is a memory here, S1. S1 is an object of which type? Simple type. Then what are the data members? Simple ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು data members P, T, R and SI. So S1 is an object of that class, simple class P, T, R and SI. Okay, to this object we are passing arguments from here. P value, what is the value of P? What I have taken? 10,000. 10,000 store here. PT value is 1. So S1 object, to pass values for S1, I have taken argument variables here. After that, what happens? This is parameterized constructor invocation, no? Then this constructor will be invoked. P value goes to X. Now X is 10,000 and Y value is, Y gets the value of T, 1. Then Z is 6.7. There is no another argument, so default value will be set. Then P value X, that is 10,000. PT 1 into R 6.7 divided by 100. 0 cancel. So 6.7 into 100, isn't it? 670. 670 is the interest, simple interest. So then after that we have to call, after this I have to call S1 dot disp and S2 dot, so here objects are, I'll take S2 here, S2 dot disp, then main function close. So S1 dot disp function, it calculates and display the result. Simple interest is 670. Okay. After that another object is there. This if block will be executed, no, then it terminates from the loop. Block. I'll do one thing. I'll write these statements in this block itself. Because at any given time only one block will be executed. S1 dot disp close. After this S2 dot disp. I hope you all know the working rule of if and else statement. At any given time only one block will be executed. If this condition satisfies, this block will be executed and it skips else part. So from here to here, that is the else part, then it terminates the program. If this condition not satisfied, it goes to else part, this part will be skipped here, it goes to else part and what is there in the else part will be displayed. Let us take another example, another output. Again If you execute one more time, ptr, again it asks enter p and t values. Right now if I give 10,000, 20,000, if rate of time is 2 years, okay, after that t is equal to 1, is t is equal to 1, t is 2, right now p is 20,000 and t is 2 years. Condition not satisfied here, it goes to else part, enter rate of interest. Now it asks rate of interest because that it's not satisfy the condition. Rate of interest, I'll take 7.00. Now, so this part will be skipped, it goes to else part, it asks enter rate of interest. I must write this statement, enter rate of interest, then 7.0. Then after that, which is the statement, object creation and having 3 arguments p, t and r. Because user has given r value, I have to pass this r value explicitly. So this the same constructor will execute for that invocation also. So with the help of only one constructor, we managed these 2 objects. Understood? Now p value is 20,000, it goes to x, and t value is 2 years, 2, r value that is 7. So this old value is overwritten by that value 7.0. Again these values are copied to another object s2. I'll take s2 here, s2 also having these many data members p, t, r and si. Okay, here r 6.7, no, previous one, p value 20,000, t value 2 years and r value 7.0. Now it has to calculate simple interest. After that s2 dot disp is there, so display function will execute pt r by 100, p value 20,000, r value is 2 years and this is 7, cancel, 0 0 cancel, 2 2s are 4, into 7. $2,800, it will be stored here. So in this way we can manage different objects with the help of constructor with default arguments. I hope you understood this concept. There is a question, explain a constructor with default arguments. How to write the answer? Using default values or by giving a default values in the header of constructor, we can manage different objects within the, using only one constructor, and we can avoid constructor overloading, we can avoid many constructor definitions. Let us take an example. Through any of these examples you can explain this concept. Understood? Next concept is copy constructor. See, so far what we discussed, constructors, different types of constructors, in that default constructor, parameterized constructor, and next one is copy constructor. So till now we discussed parameterized constructor. What are the concepts comes under parameterized constructor? Definition, syntax, then example, program, features of parameterized constructor, advantages of parameterized, disadvantages of parameterized constructor, then methods of invoking parameterized constructor, and constructor with default arguments. Understood? Now, copy constructor. So let us understand the definition, syntax, example, and program. Now, first one, definition. What is meant by copy constructor? See, the initial values of one object can be assigned to another object, or we can copy one object to another object. Already existing object values can be copied to newly created object. This is called copy constructor. So using this constructor, we can copy the initial value of already existing object to another object. So it is a parameterized constructor. Basically, copy constructor is a parameterized constructor. It is a parameterized constructor, using this initial values of one object can be copied to another object. So this is a parameterized constructor. Using this constructor means using this one object can be copied to another object. You can write like that, or initial values of one object can be copied to another object. How to write the copy constructor? How would be the invoking, copy constructor invoking? If it would be parameterized constructor, what is the syntax here? First I'll write an example so that you can easily write the syntax. If there is a class called point p1 and I have passed 5, 6. Another thing, point p2, I can pass p1 here. So what type of argument you are passing? Object. p1 is an object of which type? Point type. So p2 is an object. To this object I am passing a parameter that is also another object. This is called copy constructor. So this is the invocation. This, when we write this statement, so then there must be a matching constructor in the class. So what would be the constructor definition for this call, for this invocation? See, you must write a constructor in the class. How to write the constructor? Point, open parenthesis. Okay, what type of argument are you passing here? P1. P1 is which type? Point type. So you must take, if the class is point, class point, open flower bracket, int x comma y in the public section, point, isn't it? Which type of argument are you passing? P1. P1 which type? Point type. So I must take point type argument here. I'll take P here, open parenthesis, close parenthesis. I'll write later the body of the constructor. For this constructor, for this object creation, there must be a parameterized constructor within the class, okay, that takes a normal or a basic data, that is 5 and 6. 5 and 6 are integer type. So what you have to understand from these two, so when you create this object having two arguments, so what you have to understood here, there must be a constructor with two arguments. Those two arguments are which type? Integer type. So I must write that point open parenthesis, int A, int B, open parenthesis. So ultimately we are going to initialize the values for data members x and y. So x is equal to A and y is equal to B. Close. So x value gets the value of A and y, the data member y gets the value of B. When you create this object, which constructor will execute among these two? There are two constructors in the class. One is this one, another thing is this constructor. So it's having one argument, that is point type, and this constructor having two arguments, that is two integers. So where is the matching constructor for this invocation? This is the matching constructor. So 5 goes to A and 6 goes to B. Now when you create object P1, when you create this object, what happens? P1, there is a memory for P1. P1 which type? Point type. See here, P1 is a point type. What are the data members? X and Y. So what values are initialized here? 5 and 6. Okay. Now another object is P2. P2. Here also X and Y are there. For this object creation, which constructor has to execute? What type of argument parameter are you passing? Point type. So there is a matching constructor. Illi the matching constructor. So I have to initialize values for this object. P2 xy ಗೆ ಯಾರ್ದು xy ಬರಬೇಕು? P1 ಇಂದ xy ಬರಬೇಕು. So P1 copy to P. What is there in P1? P1 xy. P also point type, no? Here also memory. There is a memory allocation for P. There is a x and y data members. Okay. The value, which object are you passing? P1 object you are passing here. So P1 x and y goes to P. X, what is the value of x? 5. Here 6. So P gets the value 5 and 6. Now I have to initialize. If you write only x, whose x it is? P2x. Which object? For which object you are passing? P2 object. So if you write x, simply if you write x means which object x? P2 object x is equal to, whose x value you are going to copy? P1 x value I am going to copy, but P1 values are copied to P. Now I have to use P. I should not use this name P1. I must use P. P dot x. Here y is equal to P dot y. So this is the way to initialize the data members of an object with the help of copy constructor. It's very simple. If you are using copy constructor in the class, there must be another parameterized constructor. Understood? Because already we have taken a value for one object, and that object values I am going to pass to another object. That's why a class must have two constructors. If you use copy constructor in the class, you must have another parameterized constructor, so that we can copy one object to another object. Clear? See, this is, we are passing parameter here, no? What type of parameter are you passing? Point type. So it seems to be object as argument, no? So in the previous class, in the class and objects chapter, we discussed a program called sum of two complex numbers. There I passed one complex number, one object as a parameter, and I invoked the function with the help of another object. Do you remember that C1 dot sum of C2 we had written there? C1 dot sum of C2. What does it mean? See, there we had calculated sum of two complex numbers. Sum is a function name. To this function we have to pass an argument called C2. C2 is a complex type. In order to receive this C2, we had declared like this, we had written, no? Do you remember this? Void sum of complex C. Like this we have written. isn't it? So for this function call, this would be the function definition. ಈ ಥರ ಇತ್ತು function definition. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, we are passing object and that object copy to this object. So here copy constructor will execute. Further we'll discuss what are the situation where copy constructor executes. Right now what you need to understand, what is mean by copy constructor, what is the syntax. I did not write syntax still, I have taken example to make you understand. So there is a class called point. So it has two data members x and y, though they are the coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate. Through the constructors I am going to initialize those data members. Here I have taken a parameterized constructor. I have created object p1 and I am passing argument parameters here 5 and 6. There is a matching constructor in the class. So its name is point, class name is same as constructor name is same as class name. Int a comma b, 5 goes to a and 6 goes to b. So this constructor will execute. So finally what happens, this object will be initialized with that constructor through the help of that constructor. And another object I created, to that object I passed existing object p1, already existing object. So this is invocation of copy constructor. When you write this statement instruction, what happens, the program has to invoke a copy constructor which has already defined in the class. So this is the copy constructor. What type of argument are you passing? p1 type. So p1 values are copied to p. ನೀವು ಎಂಥ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಆ ಥರ ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ತೊಗೋಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ p1 ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್. ಸೊ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಮೀಟರ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. So point p I have taken. So p also contains x and y. So p1 xy copied to p xy. So p x ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 ಇದೆ, y 6. So indirectly we are copying the values of p1 to p through the help of p. Are you understanding? I am going to copy the values of p1 to p2. p2 ಗೆ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. p2 ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕಾಪಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. ಯಾರ ಹೆಲ್ಪಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ? ಪಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿಂದ. p1 ಎಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾಪಿ ಆಯಿತು? ಪಿಗೆ ಕಾಪಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ p values I have to extract like this. I have to access using object and dot operator. If you write x and y, it means this is p2's data member. So in this way p dot x, what is there in p? p x 5 goes to x. Whose x? p2 x 5 6. So in this way we can copy initial values of one object to another object. Are you understanding? Let us write the syntax. Syntax of copy constructor. Here you have to write in two ways. One is invoking copy constructor, another thing is defining copy constructor. This is copy constructor definition and this is the invocation of copy constructor. ಈ ಲೈನ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಇದೇನರ್ಥ, ಕಾಪಿ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಸಿಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ definition, syntax for defining copy constructor. So that is the definition of copy constructor. Point is a class name. So how to write class name? I'll start from class itself. Class name, open flat bracket, in the private section data members, public, class name, open parenthesis. See here, class name, point is a class name, point, open parenthesis, again point is a class name. So let us know the syntax of copy constructor, how to define copy constructor. By seeing this example we can generalize it. Class name, class, that is P is an object. So this is called by value. If you write ampersand here, that is called by reference. So ampersand, I use ampersand here. I hope you all understood what is called by value and called by reference. We already discussed in class and objects chapter, object as function argument. We can pass object in two ways. One is called by value, another one is called by reference. Here I am passing one object to this constructor, okay, and to receive that I have taken a reference. This is called by reference. In your textbook they have given call by reference, so I used ampersand there. Ampersand object, don't forget this operator, ampersand. We can pass in two ways, call by value and call by reference, but for this copy constructor in your textbook they have given call by reference method, so I used a call by reference. Class ampersand object, open flower bracket, body of the constructor, close flower bracket. Okay, this is the syntax for defining copy constructor. Now syntax for declaring or invoking copy constructor. Syntax for invoking copy constructor. See here, by seeing this example, we can write the general syntax. This is this statement. This instruction is an invocation of copy constructor. Point is a class name. P2. I can write object 2. Object 2, open parenthesis, P1. That is object 1. Semicolon. So this is very important concept, copy constructor concept. See, there are two syntax you must write. One is for invoking copy constructor, another defining copy constructor. So this is the example. Through this example I made you understand. So in the next class I'll write the program on this concept, copy constructor. I hope you understood what is copy constructor, what is the syntax for defining copy constructor and invoking copy constructor, and how to pass one object to another object. Okay, thank you.